everyone, welcome back to Katarina's Garage. My name is Katarina Lloyd, and well, at the moment, we are on our way out to Olds, Alberta. What's waiting for us out there? Well, we are actually going to be filming, well, I should say I should be filming, or I will be filming, at the auction. Because you know what? There are some really cool cars, like including a 1928 Chevrolet, and a few other vehicles that I am kind of interested in. And there are some vehicles that are actually close to Sundry that I'd love to go take a look at and film, but I don't know if they'll let me because they're like, again, they're off-site sort of thing. So yeah, not a big deal. Actually, I should turn on my headlights. There we go. So yeah, this guy with his lights off just reminded me, hey, I didn't turn on my lights. So what's going on right now with everything though? Like, what's going on with the cars? Because bear in mind, there's 3 project cars right now. There's this one, there is the 81 Mustang, and then there's the 78 Civic. 78 Civic is still on hold because we're still trying to find a gas tank. You know, that's been a challenge. With this car here, it's gonna get dyno tuned on Fridays. So as long as the flooding isn't bad in Calgary. Because yeah, like it's getting dyno tuned at Lakeview Automotive, so that should be a pretty good time. Like, you know, it's yeah, it's not a great day out here. Like, it has been pissing rain all day long. Right now it's not too bad. The wind is not absolutely horrible at the moment, but you know, it's just one of those deals that I need to get some content out, and so I'm chancing driving it in the rain here, which you get to see this point of view drive here of just driving the Mustang in the rain. Which now there is something though that compared to my other Mustang, that I do have to think about when driving this one. Because of the added power that this one has, it does hydroplane a little more if I get on it, right? So I do have to watch out for that. And yeah, like, so this is similar to the weather that I drove through going up to Alberta Beach last weekend, which you know what, that was a quite sketchy, to be honest, because like I was hydroplaning like crazy whenever else, and oh yeah, wind's pushing me about a little bit, and here, so, and like the one thing is though, when you do drive, like especially if you're driving a classic car and you're in weather like this, because a modern car, oh, no big deal in weather like this, it should be perfectly fine as long as you have the correct tires on your car. Because like right now I still have my winter tires on, which should actually help with the traction in a situation like this. Because even like when you're going around a racetrack, it's kind of funny, because your typical street tires are actually like your summer tires, unless if they happen to be like a sporty compound, are actually not as good typically as a winter tire. And it's just because winter tires are designed to have traction just about no matter what, right? So it is kind of interesting that way. But yeah, so like right now, like I said, I'm headed out to the auction here just from Sundry, going out to Olds, and I figured I'd just do this drive here with filming, because I haven't gotten a lot of content out, and I apologize for that. There just hasn't been much going on. Like, there is some stuff that I want to film, but with the price of gas right now, it's been rather difficult to try and get out more. Because, you know, like, at the... Whoa! Jesus. Yeah, after that truck just passed me, I couldn't see for a couple seconds there. Wow. That was a lot of water. And we are having not record rainfall, but this is the most that I've seen since I've lived here in Sundry, which, bear in mind, I've been out here for 4 years, coming up on 5. So, you know, like, we don't get near this much rain hardly ever. And I just hope that I can actually film and it's okay footage, because if not, then this whole thing, other than looking at cars' condition and everything, is a waste of time. So, because I try and do these YouTube videos to kind of offset some costs as well when I do this stuff too. Not that I make hardly anything off of YouTube, like really. So, yeah. And, you know, it's one of these things where I would love to get out more. I'd love to go to more shows and whatever else, but I just haven't really been able to because, again, price of gas. We still have our local car meets every Friday at 7 o'clock in Sundry at the Co-op Card Lock, so if you want to come out to that, you can. We accept all makes and models. There's no discrimination whatsoever. Doesn't matter, you know, and we're not racist or anything like that, because I've heard of some issues with that in some places, so, and as well, like, if you happen to be, because, I mean, I'm a woman in the car hobby, I know exactly how it is, I've dealt with a lot of crap. If you're interested, you can come out to the meet, drive whatever you want, and even if you don't have a car to show off, that's fine. You can still come out, chat with us, bunch of really good folk, and you know what, I'd love to see more female representation there, because it has been at times that I've been the only woman there, but you know, there are other times when there's a few others. It just depends on the day. Depends on the week. Although this week I might not be there because of the dyno day, or the dyno tune that I'm getting done in Calgary. Because yeah, like the one thing is, and the purpose of the dyno tune isn't just for YouTube content, and although that does help, and it isn't just for gaining power in this car, it's also trying to gain some fuel efficiency in the car as well. Because yeah, and oh, you really just turned in front of me? Oh, that's annoying. I have to slow way down because this guy decided. Freaking idiot! Jesus! He's lucky I was on the brake for this guy, because I would have T-boned him. Absolutely would have T-boned him. Like, and I have my lights on and everything, so there's no excuse for that. My God. Stupid, stupid, stupid people on the roads. Yeah, see, and I want to pass this guy, but there are some people that don't even have their lights on, so it's actually kind of dangerous. And he's not doing terrible speeds, so it's not the end of the world. You know, it just means that I'm a little more blind than I'd like to be, but that's okay. You know what? I can still see enough to get by. Like, and that's one thing. When you're driving in weather like this, or in any sort of a storm, whether it's snow, rain, just high force winds, anything like that, please, please, please drive carefully and know your limits. Because like right now, yeah, like this, I am not nervous, I am not scared of driving in weather like this, because this is nothing compared to what I've driven through in the past. Like, the worst weather I've ever driven through, well, there's two things that are just about on par with each other. So there was, last year in my 81 Mustang, there were some high forced winds with a ton of rain, like just a ridiculous amount of rain. And so what I did is, because I was in my 81 Mustang, right? I didn't even have this car at the time, like, because I had sold this car and I was coming back from Vulcan, going through Calgary on the Deerfoot, and wham, there was so much rain that my car was hydroplaning like crazy, anything above 30 kilometers an hour. And as well, like, I hit any sort of big puddle on the side of the road, it would just yank the car over hard, because they weren't even big puddles. They were bigger than a puddle. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it just, yeah, it was really, really awful, to be honest. And, you know, and like, I can feel the car, you know, sliding a little bit. So I am kind of easing off the gas a little and just, you know, making sure that I am being safe. Because yeah, and that's one of the things, you know, as long as you don't have a car that's like, for example, a first gen MR2 has lift-off oversteer, which basically is, as soon as you let off the throttle, it starts to slide, you you know, so they are kind of a dangerous car that way, or can be. Just like Porsche 911, again, it has that similar issue, but it's a rear-engine car. The MR2s are a mid-engine car, which they can have those issues at times. However, for the most part, most of you are going to be driving like front-engine, front-wheel drive, or rear-wheel drive, potentially even four-wheel drive vehicles, right? You know, like, and I love my sporty cars, whatever else like that. I mean, like, these Mustangs are a very sporty car. They don't have amazing handling, they don't have amazing speed, and they're not very super economical either. Like, this car, I could, if I swap it to an AOD, and, you know, with the dyno tuner and everything, I could get this thing up to, I don't know, maybe around 26, 27 miles to the gallon, as long as I have that carburetor dialed in just correctly. So, yeah, that's one of those things where, you know, getting this dyno tune will be nice, and it'll be tuned to similar of my elevation. Because the one thing is, Calgary is a little lower in elevation than I am in Sundre, by only about 50 meters. So it should not affect it too badly when it comes to driving it back here. And since, well, I live here, you know, majority of my driving is between here and Edmonton. Since, you know, like, I have friends up there, whatever else, that I visit a bit, and I have family up there too that I see every now and then as well. I see more of my friends than my family, and honestly, it's just due to the fact that usually, like, when I see my friends, we're doing work to the car or whatever else, and then I'm just too bagged afterwards to try and go see anybody or try and contact them, so I just go home. So, yeah, like, because my other car, my 81 Mustang, she's currently out of commission at the moment, and, like, to be honest, we can stop the transmission back in and it would be just fine. But the thing is, we are doing a manual swap to the car. So I have a T5 tranny that I'm putting in the car, but I'm having to locate a bell housing for it, or I could potentially do an adapter plate, which I'd be fine with that, because, like, I have, it's interesting, I have this dual bell housing type idea where I can move some dowel pins and make it to a different style bolt pattern that way. But it doesn't have the bolt pattern that I was hoping for, because sometime in 1981 they switched over to the similar to a small block Ford bell housing pattern, which, what I mean by similar is the bottom 4 bolts line up, however the top 2 do not. And now, technically speaking, you don't need those top 2 bolts, they're more just security than anything else. But it's not, you know, I'd advise though, if you can, put it in, right? So yeah, like this car right now, it is actually missing one of its bell housing bolts, to be honest, because I don't think I ever put it back in, but it's fine. Like, as long as you have the bolts in that are by the dowel pins, you're pretty much okay. However, it's one of those deals where if you can put all the bolts back in, it's just, it was kind of an oversight, to be honest, of putting them all back in this one. And it does happen, you know, where it's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna hit those ones from up top, and then you lose the bolts and, you know, didn't put it back in. That's kind of what happened with this car, but it's fine. You know what? It's totally fine. And yeah, like, and luckily, you know what? The weather right now isn't too bad here. And I just hope it stays, like, it gets nice by the weekend. Because the weekend, well, Saturday is my birthday, so I'll be 26. So that should be a fun day. And there's actually a car show in Olds that I'm going to be at. Hopefully I'm there when, you know, they first sort of open the gates and stuff like that. Well, I say open the gates. They don't even have gates. It's, if you look up on Google, Uptown Olds Car Show 2022, it'll tell you where it is. It starts at like 8 a.m. for pancake breakfast and whatnot. So, you know what? I'll pay the $10, whatever, not a big deal. I'll do that, and it should be a good time. Oddly enough, the other day, I was checking lottery tickets, and I happened to win $10 plus a free play. So I'm like, cool. So I have the $10 entry fee without having to go to an ATM or anything. It's kind of nice. But yeah, so that's just one of these deals, you know, like, so that show, unfortunately, I really wanted to bring Stitch to that. Full disclosure, I love this car, don't get me wrong, but I've had my 81 Mustang there every single year since it's been on the road. I had it there in 2020, or sorry, not 2020, I had it in 2021, no. How did I do that before? Because it was, no, 2 years ago I was still in Montreal for my surgery. Oh yeah, no, 2021 I was there. And maybe they did it earlier. They may have did it earlier, yeah, they did it earlier last year, come to think of it. That's what it was. They did it back in May, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, that's why I couldn't think of it. Yeah, so anyways, so yeah, 2020, 2021, both with my 81 Mustang. And since the last time I showed it, there's been a lot done to it. So, you know, and it's just unfortunate that the transmission swap will not be done by then. And it's disappointing, but that's okay. I can show off this car, right? This car shows a little better. It's a much cleaner car overall, you know, that sort of thing, right? Although the body's a little worse due to the rust, but, you know, like under the hood, for example, having that 302, everybody loves to see that, blah, 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 you know how that goes, right? So yeah, you know, that's basically where I'm kind of at when it comes to everything going on right now. And yeah, because like the specific bell housing that I need, because I could go to a 67 and up 4-speed bell housing for the car, for a 200 inline 6. I could get an adapter plate made, which might actually be done because a buddy of mine, actually, like my buddy Keith, he did pull both the bell housings off both the transmissions. So next time I'm up there, I'll grab those, see about sending them to the machine shop here in town, get it made, and then go from there. So yeah, so that should work out, because then I can put the V8, I don't have to swap out the bell housing. I can just, you know, have the adapter plate and make it work that way, right? But I think that's the easier thing to do, so I'm not having to pull off parts off of another car or anything like that, because nobody seems to have the stuff that I need, so that I can find. But yeah, so I think I'll wrap up this video here. Hope you guys do enjoy. If you did, please like the video, comment anything you want to see down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as well, if you're going to contact me, you can at Katarina's.garage on Instagram or Katarina's.garage on Facebook. As well, follow me on TikTok as well at Katarina's.garage as well. And there he goes, passing 3 vehicles, which is illegal, but, you know, it's fine. But anyways, as well, if you're interested in becoming a preferred member of AMSOIL, there's a link down in the description below to where you can get 25% off your orders and free shipping over $100 on your orders. So anyways, hope you're staying safe during COVID-19. Good luck with what we're working on, and I'll catch you in the next video. So, and see, that's pinned right now. That's kind of sad, isn't it?